welcome back to Geek Legion of Doom. I'm here today to do a review for you for the new French drama horror film, The Vourdalak. Now this movie is actually based on a very old vampiric novella written in 1884 by an A.K. Tolstoy. He actually is a Russian, but he actually was staying in France at the time when he wrote this movie, hence it was published originally in French, La Famille du Vourdalak. It's going back a bit. This was actually published 40 years before Dracula, probably one of the earliest vampiric novels. So let's get into what The Vourdalak is about. So this movie follows the Marquis d'Urf. Now he is an emissary to the King of France, very well dressed, very noble, very rich. He's got the powdered white face, the pink cheeks. So the people the Marquis is travelling with, we don't really find out what happened to them. The travelling party are accosted, they are robbed. He manages to actually escape. He is in a small Serbian village and he approaches a door for help. Now they don't let him into this actual building, but they do direct him towards a little village and a gentleman named Gorcha who he is told will help him. He's not used to this environment, being very pampered. It's nighttime, it's dark, it's eerie, he's in the middle of a forest, which obviously gives to some great cinematography and some great use of light and dark in this situation. He makes his way to this little village and he finds Gorcha's family. But when the Marquis seeks refuge in the household, he finds out that Gorcha, the person he was originally looking for, has actually left in order to seek out. It's just said that it's some Turks that'd been, I don't know, breaking into properties. He was looking to sort of avenge whatever they'd done. It doesn't go into a lot of detail, but he is not at home. When it gets interesting is when Gorcha's grown children tell the Marquis that Gorcha has said if he does not return before 10 days, they are to kill him if he does return after that point. Because if he returns after 10 days, he will be a Vourdalak. Now, a Vourdalak is a vampire of sorts. I don't know why he felt that if he didn't return within that time, he would be a Vourdalak. But that is the instruction the children are left with. Now, obviously, he does come back. There is a difference of opinion amongst his grown-up children as to whether or not the father is a Vourdalak. I don't really want to give much more about the storyline than that, but that is when things start to get a little bit weird. The Marquis here is kind of like a viewer to everything that's going on, the strangeness. Where we go from this point is completely different. I can't really give much else in terms of the storyline without spoiling things for you, but something I will say is when Gorcha returns, he is not the man he was when he left. There is a use of puppetry in this movie to get across appearance. I won't go into much more detail about that. It is definitely very different, but this movie follows the family struggle with trying to decide who this is that's come back. Is this Gorcha? Is he a Vourdalak? What's happened? The Marquis is watching everything from the sidelines and everything is probably about to kick off. So without giving you any more of a storyline as such, what did I feel worked and didn't in The Vourdalak? So let's start with the positives. So in the movie, puppetry is used to illustrate Gorcha and his appearance when he returns from his trip. I feel the puppetry is super effective. It is voiced by the director of the movie, Adrien Beau, and I feel voiced absolutely beautifully. He has an incredible voice for this kind of thing. The puppet used is fantastic. Now I'm not going to say it's super realistic, but it is not meant to be. It is very much in keeping with the tone of the movie. The puppet looks fantastic. It's very eerie. The voicing of the puppet is perfect. There is a very unsettling tone through the movie, but also it is interspersed with kind of off-shot humour, quite unusual humour that won't land with everyone, but if you've got a little bit of a dark, twisted sense of humour that will probably land with a lot of horror fans. The special effects where they're used, we're not talking CGI or anything here. When we're talking like blood effects or effects with the puppet and things tied into it, I feel using the budget that they had, they were very effective. Please don't think you're going to go into this to watch something super realistic. I would describe The Vourdalak as kind of like an adult version of a grim fairy tale. The puppetry is very creepy, but the puppet doesn't look like a real person. It does look different. You do really have to sort of take that and be invested in and not sort of be judging on how the puppet looks. For me, the puppet and his voice and everything surrounding that was my favourite part of the movie. On having finished watching the movie, I actually really wished that at a point where Gotcha returned that they had have actually done the entire movie using puppets. I feel they were so effective. I thought the acting of the main star, Kacey Mottet Klein, was pretty solid. He plays the kind of buffoon, stupid, spoilt, sort of like nobleman, who's sort of like trying to educate people in the ways of like dancing and dress. And these people are peasants living in Serbia in a poor house, and they're not in the slightest bit interested. So it's a real culture clash between the Marquis and this family that he's come to seek refuge from. Now, there is no getting away from the fact that the movie doesn't have a massive budget, so you are going to have parts of the movie where it is clear it does show. But if you're there just for the ride, there to watch the story, there not to judge like small aspects of the movie, I think there is a lot to gain here from the movie. I do know that it has been very well received. It is definitely very different. It's something, as a horror fan, now there are aspects of horror about it, but it very much is a slow building drama. If you like that kind of thing and you're willing to watch something a little bit different and be open-minded, I think there is a lot to gain here from this movie. The negatives, budget would be the main thing. Some of the scenes do look quite cheaply produced. Not all of the acting was as strong as with the male lead. I do feel, like I said, the puppet that's voiced by the director is the best part of this movie. That's where the humour lies. That's where the creepiness and eeriness lies. There are a few scenes in the movie that are fabulous that I really loved, but I felt personally there was quite a bit of filler. I felt it took us too long to get to the point where things started getting a little bit creepy and eerie. I found myself waiting for scenes where Gotcha was there, and really scenes where Gotcha wasn't there were dragging for me quite a bit. I do feel this is the kind of movie that will have a cult following. Some people that watch this will absolutely adore it, will love it. It will have people that will hold it very dear to their heart. For me, I will be honest, it wasn't really my cup of tea. Now, that is not a reflection on the movie itself. It just wasn't really for me. I loved the scenes of puppetry. I thought they were fabulous, and I would have loved to have seen much more of that. To see the entire movie done in that medium would have been incredible. But obviously the puppet is there to actually illustrate a change in this person, so it makes sense that we're not watching all puppets. There are scenes with the puppet that are super creepy, but for me there are individual scenes I could pluck from the movie that I absolutely love, that I think were so effective, were really creepy or were really funny. But the filler of the action between the actors, to me, just didn't really do anything for me. So this would work incredibly well for me as a short with more of the Vourdalak himself. But a lot of what was around it to fill it up did drag, I feel, considerably, and the budget did considerably show in outdoor scenes like in the forest and things. But for me, I do feel this will be a hit with a lot of people. If you like to watch things that are that little bit different, that are quirky, definitely check out the Vourdalak. So if I had to rate this one on a personal level, for me, I would come in at about a 6. That is considerably elevated by the use of puppetry and the voicing by the director Adrien Beau. So have you seen the Vourdalak yet and any of its festival releases? Or will you be looking forward to checking it out when it's released on streaming 16th of September, folks? Let me know below in the comments what you think, if it's something you think you would enjoy, and I look forward to speaking to you next time.